I lent $5,000 to my sister Monica to cover her urgent bills. A week later, she was on Instagram showing off luxury bags, relaxed, as if nothing had happened. "You'll survive," she messaged me. I didn't respond. I just let her think she'd won. Now, I wake up every morning to 30 missed calls. I never imagined being here, posting on Reddit about family drama, but here I am, staring at my phone while Monica's Instagram stories loop endlessly. There she is, surrounded by Gucci bags, captioned, "Treat yourself to luxury." Let's rewind 3 weeks. It was around 11 p.m. when Monica called me in tears. Something about final notices, a potential eviction, and how her landlord was being unreasonable. She needed $5,000 to settle her debts and avoid being kicked out of her apartment. "Please, Daniel," she begged. "I don't know who else to ask. Mom and Dad are already helping with my car payments, and I can't stress them out more. I'll pay you back as soon as I get my next paycheck, I promise." I sat in the dimly lit living room, staring at my reflection on the TV screen, feeling that old protective instinct of an older brother. Monica had always been the baby of the family, the one everyone runs to help. But something felt different this time. "What about your savings?" I asked. "Didn't you mention a bonus last month?" "Medical expenses," she quickly replied. "Remember when I had that weird stomach issue? Insurance didn't cover everything, and then things spiraled. I should have pressed harder, asked for proof of those bills, listened to that nagging voice in my head telling me something was off. But it was too late. I was tired, and the thought of my little sister being evicted was unbearable. "I'll transfer the money now," I said. "But Monica, I need it back. I'm not Mom and Dad. I can't just ignore this." "Oh my God, thank you, thank you. You're literally saving my life." She was almost singing. "I'll start paying you back next month, I swear. $500 a month until it's settled. You're the best brother in the world." I immediately sent the money. She replied with a screenshot of the confirmation receipt, followed by a string of heart emojis and "I love you." That should have been the end. Fast forward to today. I was scrolling through Instagram during my lunch break when I saw her story. At first, I thought I was imagining things, but no. There was Monica in a luxury mall, surrounded by designer bags. The timestamp showed she'd posted it 2 hours ago. My hands trembled as I scrolled through the rest of her story. There was a close-up of a Gucci bag, an early birthday gift to myself, a selfie in front of a mirror with a new branded coat, ready for winter, and several photos of her and her friends at an expensive restaurant. "Ladies who lunch." I immediately messaged her. "Can you explain the shopping spree and the urgent bills?" The 3 dots appeared, disappeared, then reappeared. Finally, she replied, "OMG, don't be dramatic. I needed to treat myself after all that stress. Relax, you'll survive. It's not like you're broke." I stared at my phone, blood pounding in my ears. 10 years of hard work, living below my means, carefully saving, and my sister thinks it gives her the right to spend my money on luxury bags. Another message came. "Anyway, I told you I'd pay you back. Why do you care what I do with that money? Not everything has to revolve around being responsible." I didn't reply. What's the point? She clearly sees nothing wrong with what she did. Instead, I opened my banking app and took a screenshot of the transfer I made 3 weeks ago. Then I captured her Instagram stories. I created a folder on my phone titled Monica Loan and saved everything in it. Something tells me I'll need it. My phone kept vibrating over and over. More messages from Monica. "Hello, don't ignore me. This is so childish. Hurry up. I can't believe you're making such a big deal out of this. Fine, do whatever you want. Mom always said, you're too strict with money." I silenced the conversation and placed my phone face down on my desk. The rest of my lunch break passed in a whirlwind of anger and disbelief. When I got home that evening, I had 17 missed calls from Monica and a voicemail from Mom asking why I was harassing my sister about money. The worst part? This isn't even the first time Monica has pulled something like this. It's just the first time she was stupid enough to post evidence on social media. As I type this, I realize there's a pattern I've ignored for years. The emergencies that always pop up when she knows someone has money. The guilt trips. The way she always plays the victim when confronted. My phone vibrated again. Monica had now switched to messaging me on every possible platform. Mom was also messaging, saying we needed to resolve this as a family. Dad sent a single text. Call me when you can. I wasn't calling anyone tonight. Instead, I made copies of everything. The transfer, the texts, the Instagram posts. I've seen enough Reddit posts to know where this could end. Small claims court wasn't my first choice, but I'm tired of being the reliable brother who can be financially manipulated through guilt. I got another Instagram notification. Monica had posted again, this time a nostalgic photo of us as kids, with a sappy caption about how we'll always be there for each other. The manipulation was so obvious it would be funny if it weren't so annoying. I guess I need advice, Reddit. Am I overreacting? Should I just consider this a costly lesson about lending money to family? Or should I pursue legal action and risk blowing up the entire family dynamic? Because right now, all I can think about is how many more emergencies my sister has waiting and how many more family members she'll try to blame for funding them. Update 1. First, thank you all for the overwhelming support on my last post. I didn't expect it to go viral. A lot has happened in the past week, and none of it is good. Remember how I mentioned my cousin Samantha in the comments? Well, she contacted me privately after seeing my post. Turns out, she follows me on Reddit. Hey Sam, I said. What she told me chilled me to the bone. Apparently, Monica had done almost the exact same thing to her last year. Different emergency, same shopping spree afterward. Samantha never said anything because she was too ashamed of falling for the trap. But that's not even the worst part. The day after my post, Monica showed up at my workplace. She walked in during lunch, causing a scene in the lobby. We need to talk about what you're doing to this family, she announced loudly enough for everyone to hear. I had to step out with her to avoid an even bigger spectacle. What I'm doing to the family, I asked. You stole $5,000 from me. I didn't steal anything, she almost shouted. You gave me that money, and now you're trying to turn everyone against me because you're jealous that I'm actually enjoying my life instead of being a boring hermit like you. That's when she dropped the bomb. Mom was going to help her repay the money she owed me. Apparently, our parents were taking out a second mortgage on their house to cover it. The same house they're still paying off. The same house where they're supposed to retire. No way, I told Monica. This isn't about the money anymore. It's about you taking responsibility for once in your life. She stormed off angrily, but not before telling me I was dead to her. Very mature, I muttered. That night, our brother Lucas called me. He's usually the neutral mediator in family conflicts, but even he sounded tired. Mom's devastated, he said. She's convinced you're trying to ruin Monica's life over a misunderstanding. Dad isn't talking to anyone, and Monica, well, Monica's Monica. I asked him if he knew anything about Samantha. He was silent for a moment. That's not all, he finally said. Do you remember Uncle Henry, the one who helped Monica with the down payment for her car last summer? Yeah, I replied. Well, there was no down payment at all. She sold the car 2 months later and kept the money. The next day, Mom organized a family dinner to resolve things. I didn't want to go, but Lucas convinced me, saying it would be worse if I didn't show up. He was wrong. The dinner started tense and only got worse. Dad stayed at one end of the table, staring at his plate. Mom kept trying to make peace while subtly blaming me for holding a grudge. Monica spent the first 20 minutes on her phone, ignoring everyone, then started talking about childhood resentments. You've always been Mom and Dad's favorite, she said, finally putting her phone down. Everything has always been so easy for you. Perfect grades, perfect job, perfect life. Do you know how hard it is to be your sister? Nothing I do is ever good enough. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This isn't about childhood favoritism, Monica. It's about lying to get money from me and then spending it on luxury bags. Look who's talking, she interrupted, turning to Mom, starting to cry. He's always judged me like this, always criticizing how I spend my money. Your money, I corrected. You spent my money. Oh, please, like you can't afford it. You're just mad because for once I'm not living by your rules. That's when Dad finally spoke. Monica, that's enough, he said in a calm but firm voice. What you did was wrong. End of story. The betrayed look on Monica's face would have been comical if it weren't so sad. She turned to Mom, hoping for support, but even Mom looked uncomfortable now. I can't believe this, Monica said, standing up. You're all against me. Fine, great. I don't need any of you. She grabbed her bag, Gucci naturally, and stormed out. Mom started to get up to follow her, but Dad stopped her with a hand on her arm. Let her go, he said. This has gone on long enough. The rest of the dinner was silent and awkward. As we were leaving, Dad pulled me aside. I'll file the paperwork for small claims court tomorrow morning, he said softly. I know you were thinking about it. I'll be your witness. I started to protest, but he cut me off. Son, sometimes loving someone means letting them face the consequences. Your mother may not like it, but she'll understand eventually. That was 3 days ago. This morning, I received screenshots of every embarrassing photo, text, and social media post Monica could find from the past. 10 years. She's threatening to expose everything if I don't drop the case. The messages range from slightly embarrassing school stories to completely fabricated tales about things I supposedly did. Lucas told me she sent similar threats to Dad. Samantha got some too. Even our youngest cousin received a message asking for compromising information about me. I'm not backing down. The small claims court documents have been filed, and I have a folder full of evidence that would make any judge's job very simple. But I have to admit, watching my family self-destruct over all this is harder than I imagined. The strangest part is that between the threats and attacks, Monica keeps posting these ultra-sappy nostalgic photos on Instagram. Family is everything, she captioned one, as if she weren't simultaneously trying to destroy anyone who doesn't support her. I guess my question now is, how do you handle someone who sees themselves as the victim, even while actively victimizing others? Because, at this point, I'm not sure winning in court will fix anything. Update 2. I honestly thought the situation couldn't get more absurd. Then, I got a voicemail from Monica this morning that made me question reality. Hi, so I've been thinking, she started, sounding unusually upbeat. I know you're upset about this money thing, but I have an incredible opportunity for you. I have over 50,000 followers now, and my engagement is insane. I can promote your work to my audience, which is worth way more than $5,000 if you think about it. We can just consider it settled. I listened 3 times to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. Then, I did something I probably shouldn't have. I investigated her Instagram stats. Turns out, my cousin Lucas works in social media and has access to tools to analyze accounts. What we found was interesting. Out of Monica's 50,000 followers, about 40,000 were bought. Most interactions came from fake accounts and automated comment groups. Her real audience is around 2,000 people max, and most of them are other aspiring influencers exchanging followers. But here's the kicker. While Lucas was investigating, he discovered something else. Monica runs what she calls a consultancy, charging hundreds of dollars to aspiring influencers for Instagram growth strategies. Her business model essentially consists of selling the same fake follower packages she used on her own account, with a 300% markup. I didn't reply to her voicemail. Instead, I forwarded it to Dad, who's collecting evidence for the small claims case. He immediately called me. Your Uncle Henry found something else, he said, sounding exhausted. You remember that investment opportunity Monica promoted at Christmas, promising everyone a 30% return? Yeah, I replied. She'd tried to get me involved in an exclusive marketing collective for $10,000. I declined. Apparently others weren't as cautious. We spent the next hour on a 3-way call with Henry, connecting the dots of a scheme that made me sick. The luxury bags weren't just a sign of compulsive shopping. They were props. Props for an image she was selling to scam people out of their money. Mom still refuses to believe. She came to my place yesterday, tears in her eyes, holding a photo album from when we were kids. Look at her here, she said, pointing to a picture of Monica at 6, dressed as a princess. She was so sweet. Where did we go wrong? I didn't have the heart to tell her that the sweet little girl had just sent me a DM, threatening to reveal my supposed secret gambling addiction, which doesn't exist, if I didn't drop the court case. Speaking of court, our first hearing has been scheduled. Monica's response was to post a 10-minute Instagram story about toxic family members and financial abuse. She even included vague hints about childhood trauma she's not ready to talk about yet. Then came the emails. Page after page of business. Proposals, each more delusional than the last. She'd promote my brand, turn me into an Instagram success story, feature me in her upcoming masterclass on abundance mindset. Only $997 for early registrants. Lucas tried to intervene again. He organized a meeting at a cafe thinking neutral territory might help. Monica arrived 2 hours late, carrying a new Chanel bag. "Oh, it's just a loan for a brand partnership I'm doing," she said when she saw me looking at the bag. The price tag was still partially visible under the handle. She spent the entire meeting pitching her latest project, a luxury lifestyle coaching program she wants to launch. All she needed was a small investment of $15,000. The $5,000 she owed me would be deducted from my guaranteed returns. "Think bigger than $5,000, she kept saying. "It's about building generational wealth. Don't you want to be part of something revolutionary?" Lucas eventually exploded. "The only revolutionary thing here is your ability to believe your own lies." She left in tears, but not before telling us we were just jealous of her entrepreneurial spirit. This morning, I received an email from her with a PDF attachment. It's a contract offering to settle her debt by making me a business partner. The document is clearly copied from a template she found online. There are placeholders where she forgot to fill in details. The final detail: she CC'd her legal team. The address was legaleagle123@gmail.com. I forwarded everything to my real lawyer. Yes, I hired one. His response was a single laughing emoji, followed by, "Don't worry, we've got this." Dad called me tonight. Apparently Monica now claims she'll represent herself in court because the judicial system is a conspiracy against entrepreneurs. She's watching YouTube videos about sovereign citizens and constantly talks about maritime law. Part of me wants to laugh, but the other part remembers that she's my sister. Someone I shared secrets with. Someone I carried on my shoulders so she could see fireworks better at county fairs. But then I see new comments appearing under my old Instagram posts. "This user is known for financial fraud. Stay away." "Notorious scammer." All from newly created accounts with 0 followers. Court date is next week. Mom has stopped taking sides and now sends daily Bible verses to the family group chat. Dad is documenting everything with terrifying efficiency. Lucas is baking enough cookies to feed an army. And Monica? She just posted another Instagram story. She's launching a podcast about surviving family betrayal. Oh, and she's still using my credit card to pay for her premium Spotify subscription. I just noticed. At this point, I don't even know what I'm expecting from court. The money seems almost insignificant now. What I really want are answers, but I'm starting to realize they might cost more than $5,000. Finally, update 3. Sometimes karma needs a little push. Yesterday was the big court day. Monica didn't show up, at least not at first. Her Instagram story showed she was at a spa, cleansing negative energy, before facing her oppressors. She finally arrived 2 hours late, wearing sunglasses inside the courtroom and carrying what I now know to be a fake Birkin. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start with what happened the day before the trial. You remember how I mentioned Lucas works in social media? Well, he quietly archived everything Monica posts, including private stories for her close friends that she thought were visible only to her inner circle. That's how we caught her bragging about her foolproof system for manipulating family members. But here's the real knockout punch. Dad's friend, supposedly retired from the FBI, is actually still active. And it turns out Monica's little consultancy business caught attention when multiple reports of electronic fraud started coming in. I didn't plan any of this. I just wanted my money back. But when Dad's friend asked if I was ready to help build a case, I didn't hesitate. All those Instagram DMs where she sold fake follower packages, transferred, the payments from her masterclass collected through fake business accounts, documented. That marketing collective she promoted at Christmas? All emails saved. The small claims court judge glanced at our evidence and said, "There's a lot more here than $5,000. He wasn't wrong. Monica walked into that courtroom thinking she was facing a simple civil trial. Instead, she found two federal agents waiting for her with a warrant. Apparently, running a pyramid scheme on Instagram isn't just morally reprehensible. It's federal electronic fraud. The look on her face when they approached? Priceless. She tried to run, but those 6-inch heels, probably counterfeit, didn't get her very far. "This is harassment!" she screamed as they read her rights. "I'm an entrepreneur. I help people build wealth. Daniel, tell them." I didn't say a word, just watched as they confiscated her phone. Her precious, precious phone, with all her business records intact. Mom wasn't there. She couldn't handle it. But Dad? Dad stayed by my side, his face as impassive as stone. Lucas was on the other side, discreetly filming everything for evidence, he said, and maybe a little for satisfaction. The federal agents uncovered over $200,000 in fraudulent transactions, at a minimum. They're still investigating. That emergency she needed my $5,000 for? It was to pay people threatening to expose her for previous scams. The luxury bags, most were fake. She was selling the real ones. The brand partnerships she boasted about, totally made up. Even the apartment she claimed she was about to be evicted from didn't belong to her. She was illegally subletting it while collecting rent from 3 other people for the same space. Here's my favorite detail. Remember that podcast she launched about surviving family betrayal? The FBI is now using it as evidence. Apparently, confessing financial crimes on a public platform isn't the smartest strategy. After her arrest, her lawyer, a real one this time, appointed by the court, came to us with a plea deal. Dad quickly shut that down. The time for deals was before she tried to destroy her brother's reputation. My aunt called this morning in tears. Apparently, Monica scammed her out of $225,000 for an exclusive luxury travel club that doesn't exist. She's not the only one. We're discovering new victims every day. Family members, friends, followers. No, one was spared. The federal investigation is ongoing, but they're already talking years, not months, and hefty fines. Let's just say the $5,000 she owes me is now the least of her worries. Mom has finally stopped sending Bible verses and is now in therapy, trying to understand how she missed so many signs for so long. Dad has remained silent, but he told me one thing that stuck with me. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is let someone face the consequences. Monica's Instagram account is still active, but it's now managed by the FBI. They're using it to track down more victims. The comments section is enlightening. Turns out I'm not the only brother she tried to scam, just the only one who didn't let her get away with it. Some family members think I went too far. They say I could have handled it privately, kept it within the family. But that's exactly the kind of reasoning that allowed her to get away with it for so long. The same day she was arrested, I got a notification that she'd tried to access my Netflix account. Even handcuffed, she was still trying to take what she could. Yesterday, I changed all my passwords, froze my credit, and blocked her access on every platform. Then I treated myself to dinner with the money I would have spent on her birthday gift next month. The restaurant had a sign on the wall, "No refunds for bad decisions." I took a picture and sent it to the family group chat. Dad replied with a thumbs up. Mom left the conversation. Lucas asked if I feel guilty about what happened. I feel nothing. Some people only learn when the consequences outweigh their excuses. As for the $5,000, I'm donating it to a nonprofit that educates people about social media scams. It feels appropriate. Monica's trial date is set for next month. I'll be in the front row, not because I need to see her face confront the consequences, but because I want her to see mine when she realizes her biggest mistake wasn't scamming me. It was believing I wouldn't fight back. Isn't it deliciously ironic to see my sister Monica finally face the consequences of her elaborate scams? After years of being the queen of opportunistic emergencies and empty promises, she's now in the spotlight. But not as the visionary entrepreneur she dreamed of being. No, now she's the star of a federal case, with agents confiscating her phone and everything. Who would have thought those fake followers and bought likes would turn into such solid evidence? I think I always knew her facade was too shiny to be true. But I never imagined I'd be applauding the unraveling while enjoying dinner paid for with the money that was supposed to be her gift. And to think it all started with a simple $5,000 transfer. Well, not so simple since it came with tears, desperation, and that old family guilt she manipulated so well. Now here we are. Me blocking her pathetic attempts to access my Netflix accounts, and her trying to justify her crimes as if they were just creative misunderstandings. The best part? She keeps posting about family is everything while the FBI uses her Instagram to track down victims. It almost feels like a comedy script, but, as always, life surpasses fiction, especially when you have a sister who considers ethics optional in her quest for luxury. If you like this story, subscribe to this channel, like the video, and share it with those who need to hear it to avoid the same fate. Until the next video.